You can tell the story. We can add an intro, outro, whatever
Okay.
after. But just
So
the stories I'm finding is what really drives home the ideas. Because people come for the information, but like the story is really what they learn from. At least from what I'm finding.
okay. Story is that my son Caleb had won a goldfish from a fair. And one of those free goldfish, I'm like, crap, I can't believe you won it. Because now I gotta buy all this junk for it
And you said all this out loud in front of him.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna buy an aquarium, I gotta buy food, like just because you want a free fish, you know? I mean, like, we had him try to win 2 or 3 more fishes just to make it more efficient, but he spent $30 and he still didn't win anything, so he's like, we bought all this stuff, and after he had a fish, he was like, I want a snake now.
That's a pretty big jump. How did he go from fish to snake?
He just likes snakes. They weren't giving away snakes at fair. I'm sure if they were, like, he would have gone to instead. So we were like, well, okay, a snake's a lot more labor intensive if than a fish. So we said, hey, you know, feed the fish every day for a year, and if you do that, then we'll get you a snake.
Oh, okay.
That shows us that you
You're
are
responsible.
responsible,
Yeah.
and you can do it every day, and we're not going to be the ones taking care of it. You know, if you do it for a year, okay, that's fine. So at that point, we started looking at stuff. He was interested in snakes also. Like, we would go to pet shops and see snakes, and then we were near Disneyland, and we saw a reptile show. It was like a reptile super show or something like that. So we homeschool Caleb, so we're like, it could be an educational thing for him. Take him to the show, treat it as like a field trip kind of thing, and then go from there. What I stumbled upon was like, oh, I was just looking up stuff, and through my merch research, I saw that people liked animals, right? Well, I came across ferrets. So people like ferret shirts, almost like cat shirts, but ferrets are more of a small, niche-y type of animal, right? So that got me down the roll of like, hey, I Googled what are exotic animals? And that's where I came up with a huge list of like ferrets, geckos, bearded dragons, snakes, potbelly pigs, capybaras, all that stuff. And then I ran all that stuff through the wingman kind of process. They actually all filtered out as like, hey, these are underserved niches that meet all the wingman stuff. And that's kind of where I got it. And then I went through a book that Ryan Levesque, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if you heard of the Ask method.
I don't think so. But before you go into that, I just want to back up and say, like, this is why I love POD, because it allows you to do research without like preventing yourself from thinking. Because I know a lot of times when I was doing private label or wholesale or anything, it was like, you could go down that rabbit trail, but it's like, that's going to cause me so much time, and I don't have the time and or the money to go after that. Whereas POD, you can kind of like go down all of these crazy rabbit trails almost at the same time, quickly validate them, and see if it's worth your time testing them. And I think that mindset shift that we talked about is a great way to pivot and go, you were looking randomly for shirts because of this outside thing that you were doing with your son, like goldfish sparked off this idea. Then it ran into, hey, let me do some research. He's into animals. Let's see animals. Oh, there's ferrets. And then sidetracked. Like, I think POD is a great way to flex your muscle. Is that the right way to say that? I don't know. But it's like, it gives you the freedom to think and then figure out what really works, to find that niche or that underserved market to be able to test. And I think that is a major piece that I really want to emphasize, especially here now with you, of just going like, we didn't know where this was going in the beginning. And I really had no idea your son had a fish and was feeding him. Like, that was not even in the lexicon. But I was just like, let's do this process of research. And I think in time, you'll be able to pull some of these pieces together to use for other aspects of your business. And drawing from life experiences, I think, is a great way to find those underserved niches and then be able to do additional research for them. I didn't mean to cut you off. I do want you to talk about the book and that, what did you call it? The biggest question?
It's called the Ask Method.
Well, the Ask Method.
The first book he wrote was the Ask Method. So it's a process of how to figure out the pain points of your market. But then he actually wrote a book after that called Choose, which is actually, he would walk people through the Ask Method and the businesses would fail. And he was trying to figure out, well, why are these businesses failing? And it's because the Ask Method, the prerequisite for the Ask Method is you have to have chosen a market first. And people were just choosing the wrong market. because either the market was too big or competitive or too small or not enough people, So he wrote a second book about these are the factors of how do you choose a market. And they're pretty easy stuff. I mean, it's just Google searching and all this other stuff. But I ran through the choose process for all the different caring for animals. So caring for ferrets, caring for snakes, caring for geckos, caring for bearded dragons. And that's kind of how I came up with, okay, out of these 10 exotic, I won't say exotic animals, it's not really exotic, but like not a lot of people like have, like it's not like a dog or a cat, right? They're like pets that people have, but just a little bit more rare. And that's how I ended up with geckos. That's kind of where I want to go. It's geckos and snakes. Those are the two ones that I kind of want to go through.
Hey guys, just going to stop the video real quick and ask if you could do something to help us out, and that's leave a like, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing the Wingman University. All right, I'll let you get back to the video now.
Well, okay, going to the show, the good thing is that there's a lot of people that went, they have multiple trade shows, so I know that people are there, right? They actually have merch there, so I know that.
Wait, the event that you stopped at with your son was a trade show?
It's a super show, but it's a reptile show where they sell reptiles pretty much, but they call it a show. Like they call it a show.
Oh, but it's like a trade show.
It's literally a trade show, but I mean, it's not marketed towards. So you know how trade shows, there's vendors and there's suppliers, right?
Yes.
So this show was like, these are vendors and they're just selling to direct customers.
Ooh, okay.
So
where was this? In a convention?
Anaheim. Yeah, it was Anaheim Convention Center. So
okay.
They have one in Los Angeles, and then they're having one somewhere on the East Coast, I think. So it's not a typical trade show because like the end customer is going there and meeting the vendors and buying stuff from them directly. So so like I went there. So obviously there's enough of a show that there's consumers there that are paying. I mean, I think it cost me $9 to go.
So it's really almost like a gun show. Like they're selling directly to the customers. You just have a different mindset going into it, that it's a trade show to you because you're going in to look for a product more than just look for a single inventory piece. Like you're looking for inventory, not just a one product, essentially.
I went to the show trying to find a bunch of stuff on geckos because I mean I don't know anything about geckos. Right? So what's cool is that the show, since it's focused to consumers, it'd be like, hey, here's a sample of how to take care of a gecko, and here's a poster. So like I was like, oh, that's great. That's all content I could use. And then they're selling stuff, obviously consumers, specifically for geckos. So I'm like, okay, I could do product reviews on these things, Now there's obviously shops that are selling the gecko animals, and I could be like, hey, I could do interviews with them or whatever, or reach out to them and talk to them. And then they're selling gecko merch, like t-shirts and stuff. So I know at least like I want a place where there's no competition. But the problem with no competition is that there might be any market, right? So for you to come up with a brand new ingenious idea is zero, literally. I think you just gotta, people came up with the idea already, you just gotta do a better job of it,
Put a new spin on it. Make it worse.
So like if they're selling merch already and I think they're making a business, then I could do that too, I don't think they have print on demand, so because they're actually printing out these shirts and selling them, versus print on demand. So I mean,
it's funny to hear you tell the story because it's kind of where me and Theo started. And now that have more experience in this space, like there's so many different levels that you could possibly pull income streams from. Like you can do this on your own. You could also help them. You could do different partnerships with them. Do they have an online? Are they online? Are they selling anything online? Could you partner up and help them with that so you could gain experience and money to be able to understand the market to then go at it a different way? Like just from the experience that I have, I see like a whole bunch of opportunities. And I think that's what I want these calls to be, is just, this is our story. This is me trying to help my friend. But I think in these stories, there's a lot of learning lessons, and I can say, hey, did you think about this? Did you think about that? To spark off additional ideas in other people that are watching this. But I want to overlay my way of thinking about this, which is discover, understand, serve. You discovered a market, then you're understanding, you're going and doing the research, then you're trying to build something to serve them. Mm-hmm. I want to go into that a lot more in depth, but I just want to touch on it here, let you get back to your story. But I want to keep weaving in this discover, understand, serve concept.
What the show did for me is it actually validated that, hey, there's money in here, because people are paying money to have booths to sell gecko stuff, right? Or snake stuff, right? And I mean, So I know that there's people that, and I know people are going to the show. So, and it's not a trade show, so it's not suppliers, vendors. It's like, these are actually the people who would be interested in the market that I would go. And I mean, if I was further on down the process, I might have just randomly talked to people like, hey, you like geckos? Like, hey, like,
start pulling out your own clipboard.
Yeah,
like, let's
like,
do some market research real quick.
Yeah, like, what you like? What are you in Facebook groups? Like, how much do you spend on geckos? Like,
what's your yearly ad spend on?
So I mean, but like, I think that's kind of like, it was just, and I go back to your thing about like, POD does for you, because now I'm not worried about the cost of testing on a market. Like, I don't have to buy these shirts. I don't have to like find a supplier in China or wherever it is, negotiate pricing first to figure it out. It's just like, okay, like,
and the speed that you can test it. Like, you went and did that. Now you can come home and test it tonight with different products. Like, it's not like, oh, now I have to do additional research. Now I have to find products, go buy them, then bring them to market, and then test them. That a month-long process. Like, you can have that idea, go through that, and then test very rapidly and see if it's worth going after.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, so the next step now is figuring out how to build a site, or still figuring out like what the pain points are, or what kind of content that they would like. But I think I got to build out a site first, and I know I'm going to the show and grabbing all the data, or grabbing all the like brands or whatever. I already have a list of products already that I could either resell or do reviews of, do affiliates or whatever it is, and then I could obviously create POD stuff for these people who love geckos, because if they're literally going to a show to see geckos, and so they're going to buy stuff about their geckos, right? So even if I do a print on demand where they customize their name of like, I love my like whatever gecko, so I know there's a POD portion to it already. And then, so the next step is just doing it, like laying out the action steps of like, okay, but like I said, it's, to sum it all up, it validated that, hey, this is a niche that I think people are interested in, and even going to the show, I saw that like a majority of the booths were selling either snakes or geckos or bearded dragons. There were smaller booths that were selling spiders, but the market isn't as big for spiders. And what was cool about the method is it actually showed me that spiders is not had a big enough market. So it kind of like went along with that. So,
all right. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that story and showed this new direction that we are heading in. I do think, I know merch is something that we're taking off the table, but I do think KDP is something that you should add, because it will help speed up the process of testing the market. Like, it's not like you have to do one or the other. Like, you can do both. Like, you can still go, oh, this is an interesting idea. Let me see if people are into this kind of gecko, or if they're into the bearded dragons, and like make some books around that, or at least check and see what the market looks like. Because I think if you are going to build your own site, it's an additional product that you can sell inside of that site. So you can do it on Amazon through KDP and off Amazon through your own site. I don't know if it's a journal or a best practices, or if it's actually more written out book. I would suggest low to no content, so it just speeds up the process of like getting something to the market, because getting some sales in this learning process, I find that really like motivates me to find more, because I go, if I sold a book and made $5, like imagine if I actually like really hone in to what the customer needs are and blow this thing out the water and make an actual POD product line, then go and find other products. And like you said, do affiliate. There's so many opportunities there. I just need that spark to kind of get me going to press forward with everything. And I think testing as quick as you can, getting something into the market, I think KDP is, I would suggest, an easiest way to get into the market, easiest and quickest way to get into the market.
Yeah, I mean, I think KDPs are, I'm actually thinking about KDP already. I don't know if I would, I might do, low content journal stuff. Like what I did with KDP before that had limited success was that I told a VA, hey, research this topic, give me all the websites and copy all the information into a Word doc. Then I hired a copywriter and go rewrite all this information and put it in a structured form. And then I just printed it out in KDP. So like, I'm going to do a how to take care of a gecko on book, but I'm not writing anything. I'm literally just taking all the information, researching, outsourcing the writing, and then putting it out there. And then hopefully I could start bundling that book with other gecko stuff. I didn't know there were like different. I mean, I knew, but wasn't considering there were different species of gecko and all the different little things associated with it. But now that I know, you knew that. Oh, maybe you could teach me, huh? So yeah, so that's kind of like the next step. I got to figure out what species is the best market. I kind of have an idea. Which one?
The geckos, because there's amazing features.
Oh, there's amazing features with geckos. So
I would say this: your kid probably does know more about the market. We used to pump our nephews and nieces for information.
He probably does. I know he knows a lot more about video games than I do nowadays. So, he also told me like, "Hey, Taco Bell has a new taco." I was like, "How do you know?" Like, oh, I saw a commercial for it. I'm like, great.
I would say that I think I don't want to add too much to your plate, but I do think you can do both. I do think the low no content will at least help you with like what covers work best, what colors work best, like just getting up more, and then even the keywords, just like what when I add these keywords, what are people really into? How can I show up on page one? Where is the gap in the market where it's I can compete and there's still traffic coming here? Oh, I'm starting to sell this. I can use this information. That's why I like POD, because it's get the stuff to market as quick as possible, pull the information, then apply it to the next product. You don't have to kill this product. This product's already working. Just move on to the next one. I think that's how we're running YouTube right now. I shouldn't say I think. I know that's how we're running YouTube right now because I'm in control of it. I'm putting out content every day to see what do people like, what are they gravitating towards, and then do more of that. But I need to know from the market what they like before I can really double down on something. Like you said, which lizard gecko is the most popular? I would just say pick 10 and test them. Get some books out because the internals can be almost the same exact for all of them. Just change out the covers, the colors, and you can make different sizes. There's already 100 products there to test the market, and it doesn't take that long to do, as long as you're continuously moving forward. If you want to do the copywriting and grab all the information, let that stuff that you're putting out kind of guide you to the next step. That's why I like this idea of POD product lines, because I do whatever the quickest, easiest, simplest, low-hanging fruit is. Then from there, I go to the next step. And then from there, I go to the next step. And then I just continue on with that path until I have an actual customer base where I go, here's all the products that they like. Here's what they're going to buy. I can do affiliates with these guys, or I can build bundles with this, or build my own Shopify store. Like just taking that initial test and then building off of that to get a better, clear picture of my customer avatar without guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to share something with you of a website that I think I'm going to start investigating next. It's called Answer the Public. So from here, like I didn't do this yet. So, but I'm going to type in gecko, and then it actually takes like all the different search suggestions from Google, and it breaks it down. So like these are all the how questions of geckos. So I'd be like, how to take care of. So these are things people are searching for. These are like other possible contents. What gecko is, like what gecko am I, could be a game or whatever it is, you know. What's a gecko's name? So like these are all the things that I could write content on, you know.
I'm just so interested in video right now. I'm like, those are all videos.
Yeah, like these are all like gecko for sale. Like this shows you like
geckos with wings.
Yeah, so I could see like, hey, people are buying gecko. Well, this is isolated to the UK, but I could see that people are buying it for their homes. They're buying it from different areas. So maybe I could do a local gecko thing where like, hey, find the gecko supplier near you. You know, problems with geckos. Like my gecko is sick. So what do you do for geckos sick? You know, like, what do you do with geckos without tails? These are comparisons of like gecko versus, like, we could do a gecko versus spider. Which one's better to own? Gecko versus stink, you know, gecko versus, and then these are all the search suggestions, you know. So I mean, there's a lot of content out there for geckos. It's a lot of stuff, but it's good. It's good, you know. So I don't know if that's how you want to end it, but